Hi, I'm Valerie,
And I'm Taylor.
and welcome to
Whimsy Gossip,
where we talk all things fantasy.
and our favorite ways to escape reality.
Today's episode, we're going to talk about.
Oh gosh, the Assassin's Blade.
Mm, crazy,
I cried
crazy.
so much.
We have been trying to film this episode for so long that it's been
So
like,
long.
what, a month and a half since
We've
I've
actually read
finished
the
the
book.
book.
Yeah, since we finished this book.
Yeah,
So
I
it's been a
finished
long
it.
time.
Yeah, I think I finished in June, like when I was on my last trip, like work trip to Hawaii.
Yeah. Um, and right now we are on Queen of Shadows.
Yeah, we are.
So
Maybe we just shouldn't have told them that, so that which could have been an illusion.
that we haven't that
No,
we've
we're
taken
honest.
forever. Yeah, we're
No,
honest.
we're honest.
We are on Queen of Shadows, and it's I just called Valerie a couple minutes before we started filming, because I got to chapter 39 in Queen of Shadows, and all the emotions, I'm gonna start crying again, that are Sam Cortland just got brought right back. Oh man. I love this character. I love Sam. I love Sam so much. It's
Spoiler
not
alert,
even funny.
Sam.
I just love Sam so much. I don't
If you,
know why.
yeah, let me put a spoiler warning because we don't even do those. We
Ugh.
need to start doing better about that. But
I need to do spoiler warnings.
spoiler alert: if you have not read Assassin's Blade, Crown of Midnight, Throne of Glass, or Queen of Shadows,
Yeah.
get off of this right now because I feel like everything's just gonna blend in
It might
on this
blend.
episode. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like anything could come out at this point on all three or all four of those books. That's as far as we've gotten. So,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So this book was pretty interesting. It was written after, I think, I should have done the research on this, but I think like after Crown of Midnight or after, was it after the whole series? Do you remember?
I don't believe it was after the whole series, but
Okay.
yeah. So I know it. I'm pretty sure it was like the third or fourth book to be released, and I think that's why there's always like speculation, like where do you read it, like what order do you read it in. So we did read this before we read Air of Fire. So we read Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Assassin's Blade, and then we read Air of Fire. So this was like the romantic order. Apparently, that's what it's called to
Okay.
read this
Yeah.
in. And we did the romantic order, and I
I'm obsessed with it. I like this order a lot.
I really recommend it. Like after reading Air of Fire, I was like, I'm so happy I read Assassin's Blade first because I feel like I connected to the characters so much more.
Also, we got introduced to so many people, including one of the
Yes.
most important people in Heir of Fire, like or important villains in Heir of Fire,
Yeah.
Arabin. I feel like it wouldn't have hit the same way if we didn't really understand all the things that he was in Assassin's Blade.
Yes, I agree. I think we got a really good backstory on like Selena Aelin as well, and her relationships with Arabin, her relationship with Sam. Because I mean, in Air of Fire, we are introduced to Rowan
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything that is Rowan and stuff like that. And we know that Rowan, I mean, unfortunately, Val and I have seen spoilers that Rowan and Aelin end up together. Hey, Whimsy Gossipers, I just thought I'd introduce a very special guest today. Her name is Steve. This is Steve, the black cat. She is literally an angel. Look at her. She's the friendliest cat you'll ever meet. She loves snuggles.
Say meow.
Oh, she's going to purr. For
For
those of you who are listening, ASMR, yeah. For those of you who are listening and you are not watching the video, Val's black cat Steve has joined the video chat today. Steve is my favorite cat on existence. Like Val knows this, and my parents have a cat that was like our family cat, and his name is Mr. Gus. And I think Steve tops Mr. Gus in my book because the first time I ever went to Valerie's house, I was sleeping in their guest bedroom, and Steve hopped up in the bed with me and was like, "Do you want someone to snuggle with tonight?" And I was like, oh my gosh, she just stayed and snuggled with me all night long and was just purring the whole time. And I was like, this is amazing. She was so cute.
She's so loving.
So loving. And that's how I still remember my first time and my first interaction with Steve. And that was how many years ago?
Oh my God, like 6, 5,
Something like that. Yeah, it was a long time ago. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Steve, I don't know what she's going to be doing during this episode, but she can't figure out how to make herself comfortable because this is a very small chair. All right, so where were we?
Where were we? I think we were talking about Rowan and how
Rowan, yes.
We got spoiled that Rowan and Selena do end up together. So we were well aware of that. So I think it was really important or really beneficial for us, I should say, that we saw Selena and Sam's relationship.
Yeah.
And then because in Throne of Glass and also Crown of Midnight, we got to see her relationship with Dorian and with KL and how different those relationships are. And we see how at first, like with, I'm not going to lie, when we were reading Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight and I'm seeing her with Dorian and KL and especially how she treated Dorian, I was like, she is young and like maybe this is like, I knew there was like another guy, like I knew of Sam because she talked about Sam in those books, but I was like, maybe, you know, she hasn't had like a real relationship before, so she doesn't understand love and she doesn't understand what it's like to be loved. And then I realized that, oh wow, Sam was a whole relationship, and Sam was, I'm sorry, Dorian and KL just don't measure up to Sam Cortland. They don't. With Selena, they just don't. I love Sam Cortland so much. Like,
I love him too, but I will say, like, I just feel so, oh my God, I need to stop. I'm going to cry. I don't understand what this book is doing to me. I just feel like they're all, like, I love them all, like, but like KL and Dorian are my friends. Like, don't fuck with my friends. Don't mess with them. Like, I'm very emotionally upset right now. Of course, because in Queen of Shadows, Dorian is not doing so well. But yeah, I like how in wow, I'm crying over fictional men. But I like how in Assassin's Blade, like Dorian and KL are kind of hinted at when she's at like that party.
Yeah.
And she talks about like the you know, two guys or whatever. Yeah. And it's like hinted at that they're like, they crossed paths and it's like everything's like so connected in this world. And like it all comes back around, you know, like that's Sarah J Maas energy. Like everything comes back around eventually, I feel like. And she
like
doesn't
no
say
detail
things.
is just left there for no reason.
Exactly. And so I think that that's like what's cool about Assassin's Blade, and what's important about Assassin's Blade is like she tease so many things up that these characters are going to come back around. Everybody that we meet in Assassin's Blade comes full circle. And I think it's cool in Queen of Shadows, like how much like those other characters start being referenced. So I think maybe it's because she wrote that, you know, was thinking about those stories and writing that as she was writing maybe Queen of Shadows. But they finally start popping up and coming back around. Arabin, the pirate gets talked about. The assassins, the desert assassins get brought up. The spider silk, like everything starts coming back around now. I feel like we're at that point where it's all, you know, okay, when we understand when Manon goes to the spiders, we saw a guy who, like, we know how that works, you know, how he got the spider silk and how she got a thread, and that's how she helped.
And how like big of a deal it is, essentially.
Right. Exactly. And like when we get introduced.
Also, side note, if Manon can steal spider silk like that, Selena 1000% can go and do it too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I was expecting the spiders, like, you know, in the Harry Potter, that spider, that massive spider scene. Ugh, I goosebumps, hate spiders. But that's how I imagined these massive spiders, was like all the big nasty spiders.
Nasty spiders.
I can't remember the spider's name in Harry Potter. It's gonna drive me nuts right now. Anyway, but the big mama spider.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But
the big one is what I imagined. All the spiders with the spider silk.
Yeah, like I feel like Manon did that with quite like it was very easy.
Anyway, back to Assassin's Blade. Just a thought that came through my brain. But so we start off with the different little mini stories. So did you want to just start like diving into that?
Yeah, definitely. So we start off with her in the pirate story. And I'm not gonna lie, like it took me a little bit to kind of understand and get into like Assassin's Blade and these miniature stories. I think mostly I'm like, where's Sam, where's Sam, where's Sam? I think all I really wanted in Assassin's Blade was Sam and Selena's love story. So you do
Same.
get introduced to Sam in the Pirates little short story, and you know she's going on a mission, um, and she Arabin, of course, lied about the intention of the mission. She finds out that they're actually, you know, Arabin wants to get involved in the slave trade to make much money, and Selena ends up, you know, completely going off on her own, you know, agenda, and you know wants to free the slaves and stuff like that, and that kind of tees up the kind of downfall between her and Arabin later on. So,
Which is great.
yeah, what did you think about the pirate
I
story?
um I think it was a good setup just to introduce the relationship that Selena and Sam had like prior to their romantic relationship, because we were aware they did have a romantic relationship, but I think this episode or this like little mini story was a really good setup to see like Selena doesn't trust Sam, Sam doesn't actually trust Selena, but
Yeah,
he
but I think that
follows her
he has feelings
blindly.
for her though.
He does. Yeah, he says like I've always loved you. Like we find that out later, but he's willing to just like follow her so blindly. And he's like, okay, I'm just gonna follow her blindly in whatever direction. Um, and I think it was like a good setup to see like Selena's sassiness. Like
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay, you are so sassy. She thinks so highly of herself. I was like, well then, miss. Like she
She's
was
very
just
confident.
she is give me 2% of that confidence, please. I'll take some of that.
Yeah,
But
she's
yeah,
a
so
badass.
she is badass.
And mean, but she's mean.
She's
She's consistently kind of like just mean.
kind of like a bitch.
Yeah.
But I think like she has to be because she's only what, like 17, 18 years old, maybe
Oh,
16.
she definitely has to be. Like she
Yeah, like
has
I
to
think
be.
she has to because
She's an
she is so
assassin. Like,
young and she has to like put this air about herself that she's like, like she has to almost prove herself even though she doesn't have to prove herself because she is Selena Sardothian. The
yeah,
like, Adrenaline's
yeah.
assassin.
And you
I
know, like her background and everything like that with Harrison and her
mhm.
whole family and her whole life, like she has this huge like safety net up, like this wall up, and so she's
Mhm.
like she has to just be ruthless. I mean, I feel like she just can't let it all
Constantly.
in, because if she starts letting it in, she's just gonna fall apart.
Yeah.
So she has to shut everyone out.
But then I also, okay, so with that whole thing with her freeing the slaves,
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was so excited when it happened. I was like, oh my gosh, she's actually gonna free the slaves. And like the one slave that didn't speak, that spoke the common tongue or something like that, um, how she like addressed them and like kind of got everyone together. And it was like such like a, I guess like a morale moment where you're like, oh my God, they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it. And just like when you thought Sam died, when that whole like tower got blown up,
Mm. I
I
forgot
was
about
like,
that.
I literally remember holding my breath and being like, wait a second, is this how he dies? And this was actually like a prequel. I was like, no, there's no way. And I was like, I'm so confused. And I was like, does she feel guilt now? Like, because she was mean to Sam Cortland. I remember at that moment, because we knew at this point, because we read Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight that Sam
Yeah.
passed.
Yeah, we
So
knew he died.
we knew that he wasn't no longer with us. So I was
Unalived.
actually for unalived, yeah. I was actually expecting for 2 seconds to be like, oh my goodness, is it because um like he got injured during this thing, like this escape, and then that's why she has such guilt because she caused the whole thing. But I had such like fear and that, well, I guess I thought that maybe Sam like was killed
Like just
um
right off the bat.
right off the bat, and like
That
that's
would have
why.
been
And this,
crazy because we would
right,
have
and
gotten
like,
anything.
well, I thought because I was like, okay, and that's maybe why she felt so much guilt, and like why this Sam guy was so present because she caused his death by her being like this confident, like.
Oh.
And I really thought for 2 seconds, and then when Sam showed up, I was like,
Oh, thank
okay,
God.
and thank gosh, yeah, because I just love Sam. I love him. Val.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what Sam Cortland is for me?
Who?
Sam Cortland's my Liam from Fourth Wing.
I'm literally wearing a Fourth Wing shirt right now.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm literally wearing, like, there's nowhere in this world that you could go that I couldn't find you violence.
I have
I need a Liam shirt.
I have an audio coming up that I've been working on with that from Marcy saying there's nowhere in existence you can go that I wouldn't find you violence.
Why have I not heard this yet? You're
holding
like, out on me.
It's just been like kind of playing with it because I was like, do we release it? Do I like this background? I don't really like the song with it. So I'm like trying to find, I have like 3 songs queued up.
Send me the audio, just him talking. Excuse me, Marcy.
I know we love Marcy on this
podcast.
On this podcast, we big Marcy fans.
I know we're trying to have him on.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, right. So, wow, I forgot already. Liam.
Liam.
Sam.
Yeah.
Sam is my Liam. Liam, I could just think about him and cry because Golden Retriever v Human did not deserve what happened to him at all.
No.
The Golden Retriever energy, 100%. And Sam Cortland is right there with Liam.
Okay. Yeah, I feel that. So, like, there was a lot of curiosity for me in Assassin's Slade because it was like, okay, who betrayed her?
Yeah.
What happened? Like, how did Sam die? How did she, get to the salt mines, things like that? And she talks about being betrayed and stuff. And this book, like, the way that Sam, I'm just going to jump ahead here for a second. Like, the way that Sam died and the way that she was betrayed, it was not, I don't know what I was expecting.
Oh, no,
but
no. You're doing this to me right now, like, in the beginning of the episode.
But
that fan art,
the scene of her just like, and the whole time as a reader, doing it the way that we did it, you know he's gonna die, and she's gonna get betrayed, and so like the whole time I feel like it's more enjoyable as a book because you're just on the edge of your seat, like when, and so you're more, but also I think maybe it's a little less enjoyable because you're like, okay, I don't care. Where's my Sam? Where's my Selena? What's gonna happen to them?
I felt like, every time you watch the Titanic, and maybe this is just me, or when you watch Lion King, and every time you know how it ends. Like, we knew Sam wasn't gonna make it, because we read the other books and we know that he passed, and she holds a lot of guilt on his death, and a lot of emotion. And I was reading this book, and I just kept thinking and having those same feelings that I had when I was watching the Titanic. And every time when Jack dies and the Titanic, and
he could have been on the door with her.
Yeah, and then every time it's like a Lion King moment with Mufasa when he's like, "Dad, get up," and you're like, maybe this time his dad won't die. And then you're just sitting there and you're like, no. And you realize, like, with Sam Cortland, like, the scene that like utterly broke me was her when Arabin brought her to his body.
Oh my God.
And she's just laying on top of him, and she's just, because I don't know, I guess like
trigger warning, we're gonna insert
this fan photo, this like, oh, I guess this side, or no, I was right, I don't know, why is this, oh wait, this side.
I don't know, but trigger warning.
We're gonna put this photo here. And someone has somehow decided to rip my soul into 5 million pieces and created this fan art of her laying with Sam. And I saw this fan art and I sobbed because the way that they killed Sam and everything that he was and the good that he was is like sick. I can't imagine. And the whole time, he's praying Selena doesn't show up. And you're just praying, and he's praying, like, don't let her come because he doesn't want her getting hurt.
And the whole time Selena's in her apartment, like, waiting. And it's just like...
And like
we know why he's not coming home and she doesn't, and it's that increasingly like her panic,
the hurt,
the fear, like why is he not coming back, and then the guilt of why didn't she go get him.
Like, well, part of me feels like I almost wonder if, I know Sam doesn't want Selena to come there, but like I don't know if you ever do this when you read a book. You insert yourself into that character, and I imagine, like, because like we're both married, and I just imagine, you know, like how much I love my husband, and if I was in Selena's shoes and like my husband was in Sam's shoes, like I would, for whatever reason, when I read books, like I take that relationship and I like put it into my own, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I feel like I feel these emotions so much deeper because I do that. But in that moment I was like, oh my gosh, like I couldn't imagine, because I feel like I would have failed my husband, because I was like, how, I should know you better, I should know that you would be home by now, I should know this, I should know that, and I was just so upset. And
it's also on the heels of them like planning their lives to escape together and to be free and to just be in love and together, and she was very content with just living a human normal life, no powers, as Selena. And obviously that wasn't her destiny, that wasn't her fate. And you know, maybe you know, everything happens for a reason, even the bad things in life, and she was meant to go on a different path, and that didn't involve Sam, but it's horrible anyway.
It's very horrible. And I just imagine, like, I don't know I don't know if this is a good thing to put out there, but like when I was reading that, and again I take it as like myself, and I was like, if I was in her shoes, the world would burn down. Like I understood her rage so well in that moment. Like I was like, oh no, like I would blindly be running and just like tearing the world down, like how dare you take that from me, like how dare you do that to my person.
I think about that often, like not often, again I say this all the time, why do I always say like I think about that often? I have intrusive thoughts, but especially like when Eric was deployed, I'd always think to myself, like, what if I like got like a knock on the door, or like what if people like came to my house, and like just the absolute sheer brokenness for me. Like I just feel like in that moment I would just honestly, like Sydney's like my closest friend, like that lives here, like I would just call her and be like, I can't exist right now. Like I need you. Like I literally can't exist. Like I just feel like I wouldn't be a person. Like I was just kind of like, I think like I would think about that. Like what if that happened and like people showed up at my door? And it's like terrifying to think like that something would happen to your person. Like I just feel like my whole world would just shatter. And I just couldn't exist, and I would need somebody to like manage everything for me, because I feel like I would be completely lost, and not in the sense of like I'm not my own person and I don't have my own separation of my life, and that like I'm completely intertwined, but just my soul. Does that make sense? I don't like I just feel like my soul would be lost. Like
because
I wouldn't know what to do.
And when we got married, we like, your goal is like you're with this person forever, and you don't foresee a time when you're not with this person. And I know Sam and Selena, we're getting so off topic, but I know like Sam and Selena weren't married, but they were planning an entire life together. Like Selena was planning her life with him, and like they didn't go like that all the way, so to speak, because their thought was like, well, we have our entire lives ahead of us. Like we have forever. Like there was no thought like there wasn't going to be them forever. So like she's sitting here planning this entire forever with him. They're just, I can't imagine. I literally cannot imagine.
And to be killed in such a tragic, horrible way, and by the person.
Human torture bothers me the most. Human torture literally bothers me. I can like when horror movies, like those Saw movies, I can do like jump scare, like scary Halloween ghosties. Like I'm like, oh, that's fine. It's not a big deal. But human torture movies, I don't know what that is. Like I can't. And
I don't like torture. Mm-mm.
And again, seeing the fan art that we inserted here before, and you can really see the detail because I do remember, this is kind of graphic, but like it was a line in the book, and like I guess because it's such like a gross thing to me, I didn't realize like when I was reading what I was going to be reading, but when they said like they gouged his eyes out,
yeah,
like okay, all right. Anyway, so Sam Cortland, I love you so much. I'm in Queen of Shadows, and I'm still crying over you. I am, and truthfully, when all this happened, my coworker, I had read it like a day or two before, and my coworker read it like a day or two after me, and we were at work together. And I saw her getting to this part, like the point in Assassin's Blade, and like I'm not gonna lie, I was angry. I was like,
you were angry. You were so angry at Sarah J. Maas.
I was irate. I was like shaking mad at Sarah J. Maas. Like, how dare you do this to me? How dare you do this to Sam?
Because you didn't just kill him. You mutilated him. You destroyed him. You killed him off in the most horrible way.
Horrific way. And a good character. Selena's been through so much already, and we know that now. And like, how dare you do that? Like, how dare you hurt me this way? I was so mad. I was so angry over how Sam died. And I remember my coworker, once she read how she finished the book, and we were both like, she's at work, and like her and I were like, we got to take a walk. We got to take a walk. And like, mind you, we work in the hospital, so it's not like there's much places for us to walk, but we were like, we're going to take a walk right now. And we were taking a walk, and I was like, oh, I'm angry. And she's like, I'm angry. And we were like, we're really angry right now. I was like, it's been like 2 days for me, and this anger is not subsiding. Like, and then when Air of Fire came and I met Rowan, I was just like a little grumpy Gil. I was like sitting there, like crossing my arms, like, I better like you. Like, you better live up to Sam Cortland, like, because right now no one is living up to Sam Cortland. Not Dorian, not Kale. And I was like, and Rowan, I don't know who you think you are, but you're no Sam Cortland. And then here I am, and I'm like, oh my god, I texted Val last night, and I was like, Val, I think I might love Rowan more than Cassian. Maybe just kidding. I don't know. Maybe they're tied. I think I love Rowan more than Cassian. Oh my god, I love Rowan.
I don't love him yet.
I don't know if it's because I picture him as Henry Cavill.
What's wrong with me? What is wrong with me?
Well, I picture Rowan as Henry Cavill from The Witcher, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
Really? I don't at all.
Because he has like the white long hair.
Yeah. I don't picture anyone as Henry Cavill, to be honest. I just picture
he's the only
Henry.
one.
I mean, I'm The Witcher and me. Whoo, what's up? Anyway, that's off topic. Maybe another episode we can do a fantasy.
Guys, I'm gonna eat my breakfast.
Have you seen Witcher, the third season?
No, I want it to all come out, but I've seen this. Have you?
No, we should do an episode though, maybe about
okay, because have you seen the spoilers for?
No.
No, I won't say anything then. I'm just gonna.
I haven't seen spoilers. I've been like avoiding them like the plague. I'm like scroll every time I see his.
Keeps saying like, you can't tell me this is not Aelin Galathinius, and I was like,
oh, I have seen that. Like people have like shown her,
and I'm like, over here like, okay, so I know the rights for Throne of Glass have been purchased, so we know who is going to be Selena. Now we can cast her. She is perfect for Selena Sardathian.
I think so.
I was like, so. What are we waiting for? Is my thing. So anyway.
Yeah, I think, oh my gosh, we should like binge The Witcher and do like a Witcher season 3 episode, like talking about season 3 of The Witcher.
So,
and because there's so much to talk about there too, because like Henry Cavill leaving, how do we think about Liam, at the story ending, where it's going to go? Yeah, let's do that. Okay. But enough about The Witcher because we're getting back to Assassin's Blade.
We're really off base today.
This is quite the episode. Sorry, everyone. We're kind of jumping around. But Assassin's Blade. Woo. Okay. So I really want to, I don't know if we're going to get into all the short stories. Because I feel like, I mean, that one after the pirate we're in that one girl's head from like the inn or like a keep or something. That was super uninteresting. I was not about it. It was really boring, but I guess she's going to come back around at some point. I really liked the desert one, though.
Back from the Red Desert. Was it not the Red Desert first?
I don't remember.
Maybe not.
I think the Red Desert came after. No, maybe not.
The Red Desert. I like the Red Desert a lot.
Okay, so yeah, because she comes back and Arabin's super pissed. He beats her. He beats her and then sends her off to the Red Desert. And then at this point, I think I am kind of sad because Sam doesn't come back for a very long time, like a too long of a time. And I'm like, I don't care about anybody else. I want Sam because this is the only book we get him in theory. Theoretically, in my mind, this is the only book we're going to get him. I don't know if that changes. If he gets brought back to life, I might die. Anyway, so Sam, okay, no, yeah, the Red Desert. Really liked it though. Like I thought it was interesting how the one chick like betrayed everybody.
Hansel,
yeah. She like betrayed her, and she was like her like first like kind of female friend and stuff, and she let her go. And
I don't think you're at this part of Queen of Shadows yet.
Yeah, please don't spoil. She's ahead of me. I'm only on chapter 28. But yeah, Rowan just got back and stuff. So
love him.
He just got back. I'm kind of like, I'm like, okay, you're back. The Adian's dad reveal, that was crazy.
Right?
Holy hell. Adian's dad reveal of he's like literally a half fae. What? Cool. Why can't he transform? Is that going to come back around? Anyway, there's no magic yet. So we'll see. But also like Adian with the blood oath, and I totally understand why he's mad, but I also understand Selena's side. And I love how Sarah J. Maas writes it in a way where I can literally see both sides of the coin. And you kind of just realize
get that in ACOTAR. Like,
I don't know. It's so annoying. But I wish that people would like take the example of Throne of Glass and be like, this is how the world is. I was like, most conversations and most arguments or it's like sometimes there's no like right and wrong. It just everyone has their own perspective and their own like what's happening inside of their heads. I don't know. There's definitely are times where there's rights and wrongs, but
you know what I mean?
We're so much more complex than just like, it's not black and white. Everything is gray. Everything is fucking gray.
Well, because we're all molded by different experiences in life. So I feel like, but yeah, because everyone's molded by different experiences, it just kind of, it's not like a one shoe or one size fits all situation. So,
right.
Anyway, yeah. So we go to the Red Desert because we're talking a lot about Queen of Shadows right now.
Well, so good.
It's so good. Gosh, guys, like this book does not have the romance that ACOTAR has. Like ACOTAR has the romance, and if you love love like I love love, you will love ACOTAR. I'm just like such a sap, and I'm like, oh my god, I love love so much, and I tell people that all the time. But as far as stories go, this
and
trumps
deaths
ACOTAR.
And sad and I'm like
emotion.
People actually die. All right. Speaking of murder, Arabin Hamel. I really want to talk about him for a little bit.
He's so creepy.
In this episode, I really want to talk about him. I don't find him creepy. I find him a really intriguing villain. I think that he has a lot of depth. He's not just one-sided. And I love that how Sarah J. Maas wrote him. And even now reading Queen of Shadows, I see it even more like this. He's like cunning. He's really good at like manipulating people's emotions. Like with Selena, how like he has like this weird like attraction and love for her, which is kind of odd because he's kind of like this. Her? Yeah, he's like 10 years older than her or something, or 15 years older than her or something. I think he's in his late 30s, she described, mid to late 30s. And so she's like 19.
Yeah.
Because he found her when she was, I think, like, 7 or something, washed up on the shore of wherever. He definitely manipulated that situation, for sure. And I think he knew who she was. and turned her into Selena, started out the assassin. But it's crazy her like fall from grace after the slave thing, the pirate short story, like how she, you know, betrayed him or whatever. And so he punishes her and she starts falling from the ranks, because in the beginning of the series or of the book, she's like basically his right hand. She's like his like training to become like his replacement, almost like his protege. And now she's like falling from grace. And then on top of that, she buys her freedom. And then he gets so jealous about Sam because he's like very possessive over Selena. But I think like it's this weird toxic father-daughter relationship, but also there's like this weird romantic love as well, because like obviously it's not his daughter. There's just so much to unpack with Selena and Arobyn's relationship and how he plays on her emotions, and then how he used all of her money to buy Lysandra, and kind of like throw that in her face. Like but then at the same time, he's like, I love you. I care so much about you. Like he
loves to control her.
I love to hate him. I love him as a villain. Yeah. I think he's so much more compelling, has so much more depth than the king, than Maeve, than anybody else we've seen even. Like this villain. Ianthe. He's Ianthe on steroids there, though. Like he's got so much more to him, and I really am like just curious to like, I love the scenes with him. It's like so good. It's so good. Like Maeve, I was like, ugh, whatever. The King of Hybern scenes are fine, but Arobyn scenes, I'm just like, oh, this sneaky, cunning, like assassin king. You know, and he doesn't have powers. And I think that that's cool too, is like, he's just a person, and right?
He's so lethal.
He's so lethal. Magic. He's got so many connections. I said it like on Instagram yesterday, and I don't know if you saw, but he's giving me like Klaus vibes a little bit.
Don't say that, because I love Niklaus.
I know, but like Klaus is horrible, but then also like he's got like this, I don't know, trying to like romanticize and like flirt with people, but he's also got all this power, and like he's also got like all his own intentions, and he's cunning, and he's this and that.
Dang it, Valerie, you just compared him to Klaus, and now my brain is like, well, Klaus would probably do that. Klaus would probably do that too. Fudge. Dang it, Valerie.
He's described to be attractive, so Selena describes him as an attractive person, like a handsome man. Like he's also, I think, a redhead. I think.
He's like,
but yeah, she describes him handsome. Sorry, I did that for you, but yeah, he gives me Klaus. And like
now, when I read this book, I'm gonna think of like Niklaus Michelson every time he says like he does anything, because I'm going up on a scene with Arobyn coming up, so I know this entire scene that I'm gonna be reading, I'm gonna be like, Niklaus Michelson. But
that's what I'm saying. Like,
dang it.
How, and I'm wondering
I love
too.
Klaus.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'm watching Vampire Diaries season 3 right now, and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I know people like start to not like hate him anymore. People like him, so I think I'm just starting to paint him in a better light already in my head. But then I reminded myself, I was like, he literally killed Elena's aunt like 2 fucking seconds ago. Why are we liking him now?
So I'm like, does that happen with family?
Yeah,
shoves a dagger in them.
He's horrible.
And then wait till you get to the originals.
And he ruins he ruins my love of my life, Stefan. He ruins him and Elena and compels him and just destroys this man who I am in love with. Yeah. I can't deal with it. So I'm just kind of like,
Klaus and Caroline is my favorite couple next to Davina and Cole. But like,
well, thank God that was already spoiled with me on Instagram Reels. But I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Klaus and Caroline, they're not really a couple though, so don't worry about it. Nothing got spoiled.
Oh, well, that's upsetting because I wanted.
So upsetting because I freaking love them.
I do too, even though he's so evil. But again, Klaus is like that villain that you start to kind of, he's intriguing. He's got a lot of layers. That's what I feel like about Arobyn. Like, he's intriguing. He's got a lot of layers. Like, even in Queen of Shadows, when she comes back and meets him for the first time again. He's like, what can I do? What can I do? And it's like, you almost feel like you're just so confused. You're like, what does he feel for us? What does he feel for Aelin? What does he feel for Selena? It's a toxic type kind of love of like, he's literally on his knees, like, I'll do anything, like, forgive me. And it's like, and she hasn't destroyed him yet. And now in Queen of Shadows, we leave off in Assassin's Blade where he's the one who brings her to Sam, and he's the one who's like, I'm so sorry, and comes to her apartment. And so she doesn't know she doesn't know that he killed Sam, but then she suspects, that he had something to do with it maybe, and then that he had something to do with her getting
because he showed up at
captured.
her apartment.
Yeah, but I don't.
There's so many icky things. Like, he showed up at her apartment, like, oh yeah, this is your place with Sam. Funny, yeah. I can just show up. Like, he does give off Klaus Michelson energy.
See?
But Klaus has a little bit more compassion. And if you see the originals, you'll know why. Once you watch the originals, we're going to do a deep dive on TBD for an episode.
But maybe Arabin
is not going to surprise me. I don't think he's going to surprise me. I really don't think he is. I don't know.
All I know is that Selena doesn't know for sure that he's responsible. She has suspicions. And then Queen of Shadows, what's-his-face's letter, Wesley's letter tells her all the truth and confirms all of her suspicions about him. And I feel like the hatred in Queen of Shadows isn't quite there yet. Like, she seems mad about it, but it's not as like fleshed out with reading the letter that I was hoping for, like this rage inside of her that we've seen. But anyway, I just think Arabin's a really cool character. I think that I'm really excited to see where it goes. And I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. And for what he did to Sam,
going somewhere. I'm ahead of you and I can't say anything.
All right, well, don't stop it right now.
I know. That's why you're talking.
I don't know. I just feel like he's a really important character.
He 100% is. He's a Sarah J. Maas gave us a villain we all love to hate. Yeah. And I think that's great. Like, that, you need that. Like, to have a villain, like, yeah, we don't like the King of Highburn, and we're like, ugh, we don't like you. But, like, Arabin is that villain that we all love to hate. Like you said, there's something about him, his mind, his everything, like, we love to hate. You need a good character like that. Every good story has a good character that you love to hate. There's just like the main villain, but then there is like the villain, and Arabin he's the villain.
Shadow villain. He's like in the shadows running the city. Like, I don't know. There's a lot. Yeah, it's going to be fun to film the Queen of Shadows episode. I feel like we've talked a lot about it in this one, but just because there's so many connections, I think, from Assassin's Blade.
Well, what did you think about the whole situation with like meeting Lysandra as a character in Assassin's Blade? Like, what are your thoughts on Lysandra and Clarice, and how, if you think about it, we find out that because in Crown of Midnight, Selena kills Asher Flynn, right? Asher Flynn? Finn?
Asher, yeah.
Yeah. So, and we meet Clarice and Lysandra is one and the same as Asher. So we kind of meet her.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't too interested at first. I was kind of like, oh, this little slimy bitch, honestly. Like, the way that she was like, whatever, and like, I'm going to sell for a high price. And then like, oh, I sold for the highest price ever. And like, but, I just felt like that was just a lot of insecurities. I think she was just like, she was like basically a slave. So
yeah. Because I know, like, in Queen of Shadows right now, I really enjoy her. Like, a lot.
I didn't think that was going to happen.
No.
I honestly didn't think she was going to come back around in that way.
Yeah.
So
I'm
cool.
I'm really interested, like, in her character as it goes forward. And I do feel like when we were introduced to her in, what's it called, in Assassin's Blade, I thought she was going to be another one of those characters where it was just like, like, she was just put in there just to be put in there.
Yep,
and
I
just
thought
to
so
like,
too.
fuel the hatred for like just to I guess like help push Selena's feelings for Sam to the surface. I really thought that's the kind of character she was going to be. To like pull
Yeah.
out Selena's like jealousy.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
to like
I liked the little jealousy things.
And when she threw the dagger at her head, I was like,
yeah.
ooh, get it, Selena, because you're jealous. And so I really thought that's the kind of character she was going to be, and I thought we were done seeing her. So it's really cool to see. And Selena, God, I gotta stop talking about Queen of Shadows, but she's so many
Yeah,
times.
you should stop talking about it. We gotta stick on Assassin's Blade.
Assassin's Blade. Okay, I'm not even gonna say anything there. So
No, because we have a whole episode on Queen of Shadows coming.
That's gonna come out. Yeah. Okay.
But Assassin's Blade, for me, I think it was a really important book. I understand why she wrote it. I really love, in the most hateful way, Arabin, and I really did not expect Sam's death to be that brutal. And I think the way that we read it with Throne of Glass, then Crown of Midnight, then going to Assassin's Blade, I mean, it's the only way that I've read it, so I'm biased. I think it was great because
what are your thoughts on Ansel, that she let Ansel live? Do you think it's gonna come back and bite her in the ass? Because that was the biggest thing I was afraid of. I was like, oh no. Either Ansel's gonna come back and help her, or
I think it's gonna be a positive thing.
Yeah.
I think Ansel's going to come back and it's going to be positive. And I think the Pirate Kings, though, that's going to be
not a good thing.
Not a good thing.
Yeah, I think the Pirate King's going to end up siding with the King of Highburn.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And it's going to be like, well, and it's so funny. When I was reading Assassin's Blade, I just remember being like, wow, we don't know Dorian or Kael yet. We don't know Cain yet. We don't know any of this yet. So, and it was just funny seeing this world where magic really isn't a thing at all.
Yeah.
There was no magic, and this is just how the day-to-day lives kind of were. And
yep.
Yeah.
I liked that a lot. I thought the book was good. It wasn't my favorite.
No, but it was a necessary read.
It was a
necessary read. Yeah. Because you needed to learn the backstories and the characters. And I think it made me more invested in Selena and her story. And again, more invested with her heartbreak that she now felt for Sam. The fact that she even opened her heart up to Dorian after what happened to Sam.
It gives more depth to Kael, to like how important Kael was. And that's why I'm kind of like annoyed with this whole situation in Queen of Shadows. Anyway, but
I think it really gave depth to what it meant for her to actually open up to the idea of being with another man after what happened to Sam, because we just found out like he died, and you're like, okay, that's, like, you don't know how he died, but you're like, maybe it could have been like something, whatever. But like, it was so brutal. It was so like manipulated, betrayal. Like, there are so many layers behind
the
Sam's
trauma. This poor girl, this poor person.
Than just like him passing. Like, it's there's so much more to it. So the fact that Dorian was that kind of person. Like, I think it speaks volumes to Dorian's character that Dorian.
That's my man. That's my man.
I know you love Dorian, but I think it speaks volumes that, like, now knowing what she went through with Sam, that she was even willing to share a fraction of her heart with another man, and that man was Dorian. Like, he made her feel some sort of safety, some sort of something that after all of that, and then for her then to move on to Kael, and then to actually like be with Kael like fully, like,
I wish she was with Sam that way.
Oh gosh, I so wish her and Sam. Yeah, I wish Sam was her first time. I really do. I think that. But I think it's a good analogy. Like, Sam was the thing were left unfinished. Sam was the one that was never finished. Like, they were, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I think it shows that, because Sam was also her friend. He wasn't just like a lover; he was her friend. So again,
we need to stop. I'm gonna cry again. I already cried
about Sam a bunch already, but I just think it speaks volumes on Kael and Dorian as men in her life, and that she was willing.
Gems. Yeah, we've loved them always.
We have, and just that they are who they are as people,
I want to go rewatch our beginning episodes talking about them, to be honest. I'm just going to rewatch them and just like relive that moment. I'm glad we have these episodes
to go back on.
I'm terrible. Wow, I'm crying now. But I'm glad we have these episodes because if anything for us, like we can literally like in 2-3 years be like, what, like go back to those feelings and like processing through these books together. And it's like something like encapsulated in time for forever for you and me.
One, yes. But two, I saw something on TikTok yesterday and it was like Sarah J. Maas and it was like an interview or something. And someone had said, so is like Throne of Glass's story over? And Sarah was like, well, and I was like, what?
Is it? She said, is it?
Yeah. And I was like,
Throne of Glass has ended, but is it? And I was like, oh, yes.
What are you going to do to me, Sarah? What are you doing to me?
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Bring it back. Because it's a multiverse.
It is a multiverse.
Welcome to the multiverse. Welcome to the Sarah J. Maas multiverse. She is the new Marvel.
Oh. I would sell my kidney to get
Sam Cortland back.
That I would sell my kidney if that meant creating Sarah J. Maas's multiverse into like a beautifully done Marvel cinematic span. Like
Throne
I need
of Glass
Marvel cinematic quality, but because we have more Crescent City. But we've heard that there's some big battle, and I showed you that one video where it's like the girl is saying like everyone kind of comes together like from all the universes to fight this big battle, and I can only imagine it's going to have something to do with like Coast J and stuff like that from ACOTAR. Maybe I could be wrong. Again, we haven't read Crescent City, and that is the next book coming out. But just like if all the characters came together to like fight, and then you literally like the end of the Avengers, like the portal scene Endgame, where it's like all like portaling in, like Cap on your right or on your left or something like that. And could you just imagine all the characters coming through? You have just like I showed you that one video. I'll have to find it again, but it was just the way she described it. But then also, if you just imagine the portals, you have Selena showing up like fire breathing bitch queen. You have like Rowan. You'll have like all the characters. You have Rhysand, you have Cassian, the Lord of Bloodshed, you have Lady fucking Death walking out. Like, just I need Sarah J. Maas's universe to be given the
I need
same
HBO
quality.
to have this. I need HBO to have this. I don't want Hulu to have this series. I really don't. Hulu did great with Handmaid's Tale. Like we're good, whatever. But I need HBO because HBO did Game of Thrones and House of Dragon and so many other amazing shows. HBO needs to have the rights to all of this multiverse.
Well,
I'm telling you, and it sucks because Throne of Glass got sold, and so I'm really sad about that because I feel like Throne of Glass could have been a Game of Thrones.
I feel like maybe we just need like, so luckily Hulu is owned by Disney, and we'll just put this positive out in the universe. Hulu is owned by Disney.
Disney that also scares me.
Well, Disney created the multiverse for Avengers.
They did. Yeah, but,
so
but that's a very different story. HBO needs this because it's not superheroes. It's not like this
dark
PG-13 type happy-go-lucky Iron Man, this and that. It needs to not be Disney. Yeah, I think it being Disney is not a good thing. Well, because they're like making it more childish.
I hope they don't, because
that's what I heard anyway. People were saying that they're making the ACOTAR series like less spice.
Sarah J. Maas is the showrunner, and I don't think she's gonna go with it. Well, she has final say. Who knows?
Maybe she wants it to be.
No, I don't think she does. I think she knows her base. She knows her fan base. And honestly, they already like postponed and just like shelved Throne of Glass. And I know there's somewhere in her contract, like they're not allowed to do that with ACOTAR. They at least have to create a pilot season.
Yes.
So I know for her pilot season to do well, she has to give the fans what they want. Like the fans are going to need, like us as a fandom, if we want to see this continue and see this universe expand, like for them to maybe unshelve Throne of Glass and unshelve Crescent City, like as a fan base of ACOTAR, we are going to have to show up, and we are going to have to be like, let me watch every single episode of this. Let me get on this. Let me watch it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Like the streams
we're
need
gonna
to
have
be
to
there.
support that.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and I think as fans, because as much as I loved the Shadowhunter, like the Mortal Instruments books, I did not. I watched the first 2 seasons of Shadowhunters and I was like, you butchered not once because you had a movie, but twice. You also butchered a TV series. So I think Sarah J. Maas knows that if it's not what the fans want, then it's not going to go well. And I think that's why she's being such like a hard head in the writing room.
Good.
So I think we'll have that. And like, I don't think Hulu, like some Hulu shows are not afraid to get spicy. Like they are not afraid for the spice. So I think that we're okay that it's on Hulu and not on Disney Plus. If it was on Disney Plus, we'd have a problem, but it's on Hulu, which is like a separate entity, but it's still under the Disney umbrella and the bubble, and the money is there. So all I'm saying is, as a former Walt Disney World cast member, Bob Iger, I know you're in charge of the parks and you're the CEO and all that good stuff. I've met you a couple times, but I just need you to listen to my episode right now on Whimsy Gossip, and I'm just putting it out there in the universe. I need you to give Sarah J. Maas this cinematic quality that you pour into your Marvel movies, because I promise you that will pay off in the long run. Like people, you could actually make Throne of Glass into 8 movies. 8 movies. Give me 8 Throne of Glass movies, maybe 10, because I need you to break some of them up. Because they're going to take 3 hours each movie, and you can't clip anything out.
There's so much. There's so much in Throne of Glass. I feel like if Throne of Glass was made into a movie or TV show, I think it'd be very much like what people say about Game of Thrones, where there was so many other side things happening that just got cut.
Mm-hmm.
And I just dropped something. There were so many other side things that just got cut, and like I feel like as it's cool to be on the reader side of it because I'll know like what got cut, you know? It's crazy. Like the only other time I've ever experienced that is Twilight and Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. Like those are the only 2 books to movies that I like read the books. Anyway, this has already gone so long, and I was so nervous about filming this Assassin's Blade episode because I was like, oh, it's Assassin's Blade. We haven't read it in a month and a half. How are we going to get through this? How are we going to fill this episode? Holy fuck, we never disappoint. It is long again.
We didn't even really talk too much about Assassin's Blade, but overall, like our overall theories, recapped real quick. Overall, Assassin's Blade was a phenomenal book. Like, I think it wasn't like the best book in the entire series, or I wasn't like the game changer book that made me feel all the things, but it was a phenomenal book in the regards that it was a necessary read that had to be there. So you got invested. I felt so much more invested in Selena, in her relationships, in the characters, in Arabin, like you said. Like I was so much more invested after reading Assassin's Blade because I was like, this is it now. Like I get it. I get all the things. You got a better understanding at why she is the way she is. Arabin bred her to be his protege.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I think
it's good. It's good for sure. Rest in peace to Sam. We'll never recover. Arabin, you sick bastard, but like, why don't I like totally hate you? It's a Klaus thing. I don't know. And yeah, man, I cannot believe we've literally been talking for over an hour. And this is just what happens. And this is why we have a podcast, because I don't even want to get off, but I have to because I have a birthday party to go to and get ready for. And I don't want to get off because I just want to talk to you forever, Taylor. I love you so much.
I love you too.
I can't with us. Like
what? I can't. Like
it's so easy to talk to you.
It's about like especially it's really easy. We've always been this way. Like no matter what the topic, we're like, let's go on a tangent. And then so besides that, anyway.
I like this book. It was good. Yeah. Throne of Glass, so good. And I'm really excited
so much.
I'm really excited for like you guys to see this journey and all the other episodes that are going to come out this season on the Throne of Glass series. Our goal is to finish it before the end of the season, and
we will because
we're
already on Queen of Shadows, so we're actually both almost really getting close to being done Queen of Shadows. I think what? I'm like more than halfway through. I'm like 75% through the book right now.
I mean, you're 10-ish chapters ahead of me, so
Yeah, but
I still
still.
have quite a ways to go. I think
You
I
don't
have
have
10
that
hours
much.
left to listen.
That's not bad.
And then, yeah. But obviously, it'll take a little bit longer for these guys to get all the episodes out than it will be for us to read it.
I cannot wait to film that episode. Ooh, so many things. I have so many things written down on my phone.
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
Good.
Anyway.
Good. And we have to decide if we're going to do the tandem read as well.
Which is what? Where we bop back and forth between each chapter of the books?
Between Tower of Dawn and what's the other? Empire of Storms. Ooh. Everyone has been like tandem read. They've been saying it all over, DMing us on Instagram like to do the tandem read. I've seen
really.
Yeah. So hard. I was gonna maybe see like what we want to do there. That's the discussion probably offline. So if you guys want to reach out to us, talk about the tandem read when this episode drops, let us know. But I'll probably already have made a decision by then. But yeah, I don't know. I was like, okay, does one of us do it? Does one of us not? And we compare. How is this going to work? Is it going to have to be a dual episode then? Like, I'm going to have to read both books. I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Wow, that's a good idea. Like, yeah. I mean, because you audiobook it, I don't know if it would be easier for you to tandem read that way or or regular read that way. And one of us could tandem and then one of us could, and that would be a really good contrast on like, you can tell me the perks about tandem, or I could tell you the perks about tandem, and then you could tell me the perks about audio, like regular reading through, and then I could tell you the like perks about.
Yeah, we'll have to rock, paper, scissors for it.
Well, whatever's going to be easier for you.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like either way, I'm down. So we're just going to have to flip a coin.
Sounds
all right. Well, we have to wrap this up for real because it is 12:30 and I'm supposed to be at this party at 1 and that's not going to happen because I still have to go get a birthday present for Miss Scarlett because I didn't have any time to do that. I didn't know what to get her. Okay. So I need to go to the store and then I need to go to the birthday party. Okay. But I love you so much.
I love you
This
so
is amazing.
Much.
Holy hell. Over an hour for Assassin's Blade and a bunch of random, I don't even know how I'm going to describe this episode.
This is just a lot.
Yes. All right. We'll catch you guys next Wednesday for another Whimsy Wednesday. Follow us on everything. We are on all the platforms, YouTube, Spotify,
Apple Podcast, TikTok, Instagram. We do not have a Twitter or the X thing, whatever it's called now. We don't have one of those.
No. We are on Goodreads though now.
Yeah. Jinx.
Yep. We've announced at this point Goodreads. Yeah. So check us out on there. We'll be putting our Goodreads review of Assassin's Blade, and you can see all the other books we've read so far on the podcast and what we think about the stars or whatever. So anyway, we'll see you and talk to you later, Taylor. Love you so much.
Love you. All right.
Bye guys.